Okay, there we go. All right, guys, welcome back. This is Coffee and Art in the Morning, Monday morning, and we've already recorded uh, the show with the file folder fodder project week 4. So I won't go into that now. There's a whole video just on that. Okay, so today, Monday, thanks everybody for being here. Bye now. Thanks for being here. Thanks everybody that's popped in, can be here. Um, Kind of looking, see if I missed saying hi to anybody. We've got a full house this morning. Cosmic Coyote, hello. Canimal, Canimal. I'm just looking at Indigo. I'm just kind of glancing through I won't call out the P word. I won't call her out. Lee, let's see, who else I might have missed? I think I said hi to pretty much everybody. Hey, Pearl Ann. I think I said hi to pretty much everybody before I hit record. But as people come in and out, I like to at least acknowledge that I see them. Renee, Stacy, Nicole, hey, Twinkle. And what was I thinking? I love that. What was I thinking? Terry, anybody else? Uh-oh, too late, Paula. She said something that I busted her out, that she was like lurking in somebody else's show the other day. But yeah, Paula is our journal artista. She has amazing streams. So anyway, I did watch your recording. I did watch all. I think I'm caught up on you, Paula. I think I'm caught up on all your shows. All right. So for today's show, hopefully we'll keep some lighting. I wish there was a place. I don't know. Where's Dana? Dana, I've not seen it, and I've looked. Believe me, I have looked. Dana's the one that showed me how to keep the color in focus. But is there a place to lock in the lighting, for goodness sake? I wish there was, because the lighting just flashes and changes every which way. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, you can't lurk in these chats. You are called out, unless you're anonymous, which I don't mind if people are here anonymously. Once in a while, not too often, but there's sometimes where I'm so slap busy, I just cannot talk in chat at all. But I want to hear the people, watch the show, keep them in the background. I might be running back and forth and just catch a, here and there. But I don't want to be rude and be in chat and it looks like I'm ignoring people. When I just am so busy I can't talk, well, then I will not log in and I'll just be there anonymously. So sometimes, if you want to be there but you can't chat, or sometimes people are on devices that can't log into chat. So, I don't mind anonymous people here at all. Take out auto. I don't see an auto lighting. That's the thing, Dana. In my settings, in my camera settings, I do not see auto lighting. I have autofocus in the zoom. In the advanced settings, I have brightness, contrast, color intensity, and the white balance, which I took the auto off. But I see no auto lighting at all. But we'll talk about it another time. Well, it's good to have you here live, Marilyn, instead of lurking. But I understand there are times when people have to lurk. Whether it's because of their devices or they just don't have time to chat and don't want to be rude. That's my feeling on it. I don't want to be rude when I just simply cannot talk right then. Okay, so today I want to talk some more about, yes, I do. Everybody's color book addiction. So the reason I want to do a specific, I know I've talked about books, I've shown books. I did get 2 new color books over the weekend. Slap me, Colleen, slap me. I'm just saying. I am channeling my inner Colleen. Colleen, scrap chick, I think has every color book ever that's come out. But let me say, I saw on Twitter, I saw Paula, Colleen, some other ones talking about it. They're on Amazon are coming out with color books that are TV show and movie based. Game of Thrones, Harry Potter. What's some of the other ones, Paula? They're slipping my mind right now. Or Paula may be wanting to, oh, there she is. I was say Paula may be wanting to lurk, and we're not letting her. There's so many. Hey, Angie. I so enjoyed My Fairy Treasures, Angie Bell, her YouTube video. She did a whole journal on fairies, on fairy, not Fairyland, this color book, but she did a whole junk journal. And we say junk journal reverently here. We don't mean it's just a pile of junk. We mean we have worked our patooties off to make a beautiful junk journal. So when we say junk journal around here, we ain't talking about no junk. So anyway, yeah, Outlander, Doctor Who. So all these different color books, unicorns. Oh, unicorns. Okay. So there's all these different color books coming out, and we love them. We love them. And so I have shown a few different places here of how we're using our color books. So let me just go ahead and start with that real quick. I have this, this is one of my mixed media art journals. This is one of the Dinah Reevely ones, the Dilutions one. And so even though I use a lot of collage, so hand-drawn stuff, a little bit of everything, starting out, I'm not going to go through my whole process in this. There are lots of videos on how I do my process. But I just wanted to flip to a couple of places where I have used some color books. Some of them I've not colored yet. Here's one of the little birds that are going to be there. So you can use your color book, cut them out and glue them in and then color them, or color them, cut them out, and then glue them in. Here's one of the ones from the fairy book that I'm showing right here. Just Add Color Fairyland. This one is put out by Barron's, and I think these were $8.99. So there's a whole series of these. I think they have some listed here. Oh, here we go. There's, I'm almost going to have to get out my magnifying glass. Dazzling Patterns, Mandalas, Tattoos. I can't even read them. Optical Illusions, tiny titles on there. But there's a whole series put out by Barron's on different topics. This one is fairies. Again, we've talked about if you use, and I've flipped through this one, if you have a double-sided page and you want to use both sides, you're going to have to, and cut it out, you're going to have to just copy that page, color it, and then glue it in your book, okay? If you just want to just color the pages, then it's no big deal, just color them all. But we're talking about using our stuff, using our color book. So this one we did last week, and it's got 3 different little images from that book. I colored them, cut them out, glued them in, and then I got stencils, paint, mixed media, some little cutouts of some clocks, painted some water, all kinds of things. So in other words, it's just a way to use your elements. Yeah, you're going to have to buy this one. It's a way to use the elements that you have in your color book. All right, let's see. I have a couple of the steampunk ones in here too. This is another one. I just bought this one over the weekend. Hold on. Colleen's got them all. So I'm just saying, if y'all want to see a real collection of color books, this one's the Art Deco Fashions. I bought this one and the Flower Fashion Fantasies over the weekend. These are the 2 that I got. I got them at, I think I got one at Michael's and one at Hobby Lobby. Yeah, Hobby Lobby, this one. They're normally $5.99 if you buy them at the bookstore, Michael's, because Michael's does not take coupons on books. Hobby Lobby does. This was $5.99. I had a 40% off coupon. So if you're going to get some, and they don't have every single, Creative Haven brand at Hobby Lobby, but they have a big selection. Of course, you only can use your coupon on one book at a time, so you're going to have to keep going back, which is what they want you to do, right? All right, so this was out of the Art Deco book. I have just colored them and put them in here, and I'm starting to work a world around them. But this is as far as I got. It's just putting a little bit of black background so you can kind of see a little bit of their outfits. And I kind of did them coordinating outfits, like, like a fashion show, because they were together in the book. If y'all have any questions, put them in caps. Okay, so I have tabs here on the ones I want to finish. Here is out of this book, The Flower Fashion Fantasies. Here is this girl. And again, the page is not done, but I wanted to show you her colored and glued in. So here's one of the flower fashion girls. And it's flashing out a little bit, but it's not too bad. Okay. And I've talked before about how you can use watercolor or water-based, well, you can use Copics if you want, but be aware they're going to go through those pages. Whatever, however you want to color it, but be aware. If you are going to cut these out and put them in your mixed media journal where you're going to be putting other elements over it, be aware that if you're using water-based markers or water-based, if you're using your ink tints, well, ink tints is not as much because they pretty much, once they're dry, they're pretty good to go. Neo colors, watercolor, water-based markers, anything like that to color, then you probably want to, do that, glue her on last after you've done everything else, because that will move. Those mediums will move. I know that sounds self-explanatory, but, just saying it again, you don't want to be smearing all your hard work. Yes, and Vicki said if you sign up at Dover, which I'm going to show a bunch of Dover books here, you will get some of the exact pictures free once a week. So again, if you're, you just want to try it out, you just want to color a few things, you don't want books and books and books. That's why I don't mind cutting things out of the books and just using one side. I don't mind that because I'm not going to color this 3 times. But if you just want to keep your books more as kind of a clip art thing and not cut them out, and you're going to want to cut something out and glue it into a journal, then just make a copy of it and then you can cut it out. So it just depends on what book it is. I have a couple books that I would not cut anything out of. And then some of these $3.99 books, I don't mind cutting them up. Okay, so there's that, and then I got 2 steampunk ones. This is from the steampunk color book, which I tried to have them all right here to show you. Here we go. This is out of this Creative Haven book, Steampunk. Okay, and again, I want to say again, we're not doing this and putting them in our books and selling all these different color book pages and things like that. So be aware of copyright. Don't go coloring pages and say, here, I'm selling this. Okay. Yes, my markers are Crayola Super Tips. Let me get one here that maybe it'll show. Sometimes they don't show up very well, Rain, because of it's written in gold, but they're super tips. Can you see it? Super tip, Crayola Super Tips, and they're like a bullet tip. That's why I like these. Plus, they're water-based. Now, when I say water-based, I don't mean watercolor. You can't, if you get them wet and right on edge to edge, they'll blend a little. These are not made for blending. They're not like watercolors where they're going to blend like a Copic. Okay, they're water-based. What I like about these is like putting like his shirt, his little vest here, just a whole coat of green, a solid coat of green, and then going over it with color pencil and blending. Okay, so it's just like, for me, I use these occasionally, and I don't use them everywhere, as a base. In this case, this fairy right here, from the fairy book, from this book, there's no marker. It's all pencil. It's all pencil. And I wanted to do her with like a darker skin tone. I just wanted her to look like a little woodland fairy. So she's like, she's a darker skin tone. And I wanted her to have some pretty blue hair. And then she's like fading into the woods. Okay, but this is all pencil here. And it was funny because when I took a picture of it and put it on Twitter, and I zoomed in to see what it looked like. I know there's one little spot of white right there. See that right there? But I left it. I didn't redo it because I wanted people to see, oh, well, look, she missed a spot. Well, yeah, I did. So just say I did miss a spot. Thanks, guys. And in this case, what I did to color this, just to show that you can do, there's multiple ways. Practice. Make a couple copies and practice a couple different ways to color. You don't necessarily have to get in there with a marker or a pencil into every little dot. Okay, in this case, I did not do that. This didn't take me that long to do. You would be surprised. Her hair is one solid color of blue with a little bit of white highlight. That's it. The black was already there. Now, if I really wanted to be, I should have gone over the black part with black to make it stand out even more. Let me see if I can color just one little section here so you can see the difference. Okay? See the difference in the black from that to that? It does matter. If you color, now it doesn't matter so much tiny areas, although it does make it pop, I gotta say. The places that are already black, the large areas of black on your page, if you do go over them with color pencil, they will stand out much better. See how that really makes it pop? So I recommend going over the black areas with the black color pencil. Okay? How long is not long? A couple hours, probably. As opposed to this one probably took me, I don't know, longer. I did a lot of this. I don't know if I colored. I think I finished coloring this one on the stream. But here's how I did it quicker. I'm going to show you all that, okay? These leaves here, rather than coloring each individual, first I started with the wood part, okay? I did all the wood, one line of a sienna color. Then I blended that in with a green. There's only two colors here, an olive green and a sienna brown. That's it for all the wood. All the wood is only two colors blended together. So what I did here for all these leaves, rather than going in and coloring each one little speck individually, I wanted to make it almost look camouflaged. So what I did is just a coat of one. I just went over all the leaves lightly now, lightly. If you want to blend color pencils, you're going to have to do coats. So even though you only use one or two colors, still keep a light hand. You can always add more. So what I did here is I just took the magenta and went over all of it. Then I took the green and went and made the magenta darker. But I left this little area here white and then went over that with a light pink or peachy color. All right? So there's not a lot of different, you know, there's more 3 colors in her skin, but only probably 2 greens and maybe a peach and 2 pinks in here. There's not a lot. Yeah, to make it pop, you do want to go in there, and I did not do it on every single little spot here, but you probably would want to, any place there's black already, you know, in the printing, you know, like this, okay? Whether you cut it out or copy it, either way, you can tell the difference. Let me show you here. Well, maybe it won't show up on camera because of the white background, but I can see it. It really does make a difference if you color with black color pencil all those areas that are already printed black. It just makes it pop, like I showed you right here with the hair. Okay, but you can just do kind of like you would do a watercolor wash, but with pencil. Okay, it's just like all colored there. Same thing for here. So I just kind of went right over everything with the green on the top of the leaves and the peach and pink on the bottom of the leaves. Okay, so not everyone has to be like unless you're just going to be OCD about it, and I understand that, you know, hey, it's however you want to do it. But I'm going to cut this out today and find a page in this book for her. But I didn't want to do it till I showed it to you like in this form. Okay? But she's going to be cut out, and we're going to find a home for her in this book today. If we have time, because I got a lot of books I want to show you today. Is Jeannie not here? Okay. All right, so if you have any questions, put them in caps. All right, so that's out of the Fairyland by Barron's. And these Barron's books, again, are $8.99. But if you're a member of Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, you can get discounts, have coupons. So watch for that stuff. And I also want to say, never feel like you have to go out and buy any of the books I show. I mean, put them in your cart, think about it, look at them, you know. But you can get so many free color book pages online. If you just say, oh, I have this color book, this page here, I want to put a unicorn, a fairy, a mermaid. Go look it up. Look up either clip art, color book pages, put in what you're looking for, and you'll find a free one. I'm telling you. Okay? And then the other one, here's the other steampunk girl that this page is not finished yet either. And these, I haven't even glued these down yet. These are just some peacock feather from a calendar. And I'm going to glue those down on her. So you can see again, I did not cut out every little feather on her hat piece. I just cut around it and then I painted in the little feathers. Okay, so never feel like you have to use everything either. And this one's kind of basic, but let's say, okay, here's a good example. Okay, maybe you don't want these ferns. Well, cut them out. You know, don't feel like you have to put everything on your color book page. All right. Yes, it's book day, Vicki. Uh-oh. Now, I got to say, most of you that are regulars here have probably seen most of these books I'm going to show. But the main purpose that I wanted to do a book show today is because I have people asking me questions about the different kinds of books, and I can't direct them to a time frame in a 3-hour video from a week or 2 or 3 ago. So I thought I would just make this segment all about just the color books, clip art books, and doodle books. Okay, and that way I can just go to that particular stream and you can see some samples of those 3 things. Okay. Yes, Carrie Ann, some of the girls have been talking about some of the new books coming out. Hobbit, Harry Potter, Harry Potter, the Hobbit, Doctor Who. Some of those have been advertised on, I believe, Amazon. I don't know that they've come out yet. I haven't researched it. But some of the girls were talking on Twitter yesterday about Outlander and, you know, different ones, that there's going to be books, color books, based on movies and TV shows. Okay? All right. Some of the color book page, I'll show this little book again. This is my freestyle, really big notebook, and Paula got her one. I saw Paula. Anyway, I'm using this as kind of a glue book / pen and ink book. I don't really want to draw in this. I have a couple of color book images that I've cut out and put in this book, but this book is for me to just kind of glue things in I like, doodle around it. It's all pen and ink. I don't really want any pencil, paint. Not that I wouldn't add a little slab of paint or something in here, but these pages are pretty thin. They're kind of like copy paper thin. And but I like it. There's 800 pages. All the pages are numbered. There's an index at the front. Those are the 2 things that sold me on this book, other than it's just a Mama John, but I love this. But anyway, so I've cut some different kind of things out. Here is from the Paula Paris book. I call it that because she's the enabler. This is one of the pictures from that book, and in the very back, this is one of the pictures. Those are the only 2 that I've copied out of the Paris book to put in this journal. But I really like those 2 images coming and going. I do have a couple of the girls in kimonos, and I have, where's that book? have it. I try to get them all right handy. This girl and a couple others. This one. These are out of the Kimono Designs. Again, a creative haven. So that when you, whatever you put in it, you make your own index, Vicki. Like I could say here on page 41 is the blue kimono and whatever else. I could journal right here. If you're a writer, it's really handy. On page 41, I wrote about XYZ. So it's like your own index. It's your own table of contents. It's your own table of contents. No, it's not. It's not. It's not, Vicki, at all. So these two girls, I just liked the way they turned out. I didn't really have a place for them in my Dilutions book, but I love the way they turned out. So I just cut them out, and it's wanting to flash out. I cut them out, and that's from this, and I just tore the pages out of the book. Okay, but this is another awesome one here. So I'm not going to go through every book. I might do a little quick flip through, but I'm going to just kind of show you examples. Okay, so this is my book where, oh, well, let me show you why I call it. So this is like, I'll glue things in. These are different bits of magazines, different bits of clip art. This is, you know, different things I might draw, pen and ink, but it's kind of a combination, glue book, bits of color, just bits. It's just bits. Okay, and I actually named it Connections. I named it Connections because they're things that, to me, I can connect with different bits. So this is kind of like my Connections book. So here's a bit of fabric, a couple of words, but the rest is all, this is hand drawn. So I, you know, hand draw bits, glue bits, magazine bits, all just, it's just, here is a magazine face, different bits from a different image. I drew the skirt, drew the boots, but the little boot cuffs are bits of another something. So that's kind of what, and then that's a stamp. Okay, so it's just different glue, pen and ink, sketching, drawing, ideas kind of thing. And that's what I'm using this one for. Okay, again, this is just the sleeve off of one thing, a stamped hand, and then I drew her outfit and drew her face. Okay, this is a cutout right there. This is all hand drawn. That's a stamp. That's this is a cutout. She's hand drawn. Face is from a magazine. This is from the steampunk book. So yeah, and I'm just calling it Connections because to me they have connections. Doesn't matter if they connect to you, because this is my book. So anyway, so you can just kind of see some of the different bits that I've cut out, added. Here's the swatches from the Super Tip Crayola markers. Another cutout here. This is just the band I used to close it. I drew the Yoo-hoo stick over there. Cut that out. Where I drew it on another piece of paper and then I cut it out. And then I got the two girls there. And then some other. These are color book cutouts on top of other clip art and magazines. So it's just, you know, that's as far as I got in there. And I just throw things in here as I think of it, come across them, or whatever. And it's 800 pages, yeah. But Vicki, I don't feel intimidated by it or overwhelmed by it because it just sits here. When something comes across oh, I like that little bit of Frida. I like that little Frida thing. So I'm going to just stick it in here, knowing I'm not going to use it in the Dilutions or another journal or something. So that's just another idea there, guys, of how to use your color book bits. Okay? Don't ever feel like you have to use the whole thing. If I really love that wing, and I didn't, you know, I just particularly like this whole image. But let's just say I needed a pretty wing. I would have no problem just using the wing. Make a copy and have another wing. So you got two wings if you wanted some wings on a separate image. You see? So there's just look at your, it's the same way I do with collage. I never look at a collage image as in and of itself. I look at how it's upside down, right side up, cut in half, cut in the torn up, you know, this bit. You know, this girl's wearing this beautiful gown. I love the flower in that fabric. Cut that little flower out. So don't ever feel like you have to use a full image in any of it. Okay? All right, so that's the Fairyland book, and that's her out of that. Let me take a sip of cold coffee here. In that book, no, it's not. It's like copy paper, Carol, in that big book, the freestyle, it's like copy paper. It's not yeah, high quality. It's more for just like I was doing there, doodling. You know, it's not made for a full-on art journal with watercolor and paint and collage. You know, it's not going to hold up to a lot of abuse. It's not like the Dilutions with thick paper. Okay, all right, let me see that lamp. It's a little glary there. All right, so I'm going to go through color books, clip art / color books. They could be used for either one. Doodle books. And I'm just going to show you and maybe just discuss if you all have any questions on some of the kinds of books out there. Some of the clip art books I've had for 20, 25 years, maybe even more. And you do not have to have these exact books. I'm trying to give you examples, ideas, and inspiration of what's out there, what you can use. Clip art books back in the day were made for just, you know, you can make a copy, you can make them bigger, smaller, and I've shown you some of my samples of where I've done that. So this segment, I'm already 30 minutes into it, is going to just be kind of like a book review on those things. Bridgeton, in my freestyle book, those ones, my doodles and the pen and ink, I use a glue stick. Because it's thin paper, I'll use a glue stick. Now, I do say this, I put a lot of glue when I glue stick something down. And I make sure I use a old phone book and put the image down so I can get off the edge and get the edges really well glued. If it's in like my Dilutions book, I matte medium, my golden matte medium to glue all the collage images down. But then when I go to add a color book page in the thicker Dilutions, you know, it's like cardstock weight, I'll just use Eileen's Tacky. Again, don't just go in there and just make a bead of glue and glue it down. Put your bead of glue down and smash it all out. Don't leave lumpy, bumpy glue beads on your color book page backs because you'll see those lumps through. You want to smooth the glue out all the way to the edge. Okay, so that's what I use for that. All right, so again, the Japanese, these are some of the ones by Creative Haven. And this one, I've probably shown all these books at one time or another on different streams. But I want to kind of just get them all concisely on here. The Japanese kimono designs, there's flower fashion fantasies, Art Deco. Oh, let me go ahead and do, because I have not flipped through this one. This one, look at this. I did buy this book, and this page, I think maybe 2, had like defects in the book. I've never had a defect in a book before. But I know I didn't make a big deal. I could take it back, exchange it. But, you know, a couple of images that were messed up, it didn't bother me so much to go drive all the way back and take it back. Okay? But they have beautiful flower girl images with the girls all in flowers. But anyway, do flip through the books to make sure that I've never had a printing error like that before in any of my books. So I was kind of surprised when I got home and it saw that. But again, I know I'm going to color these, cut them up, glue them in other books. A couple of those pages, it's no big deal. Okay? But yeah, that did happen. Never happened before. Art Deco fashions. Again, this one's perfectly fine. And I showed you in the other book where I cut out a couple of these girls to put in there. So these are all Art Deco fashions. I showed you the steampunk. We've already gone through that. And the naturescapes. Again, I've used these giraffes and I made them purple and blue in this book here. Let me kind of flip to the giraffes here. So there's the 3 giraffes. So don't feel like you have to use them just like the page. For instance, this is what the page looks like. Now, I used the original. I tore it out, colored it, and glued it in. But this is what the page, this is what it looked like. Non-colored, of course. But I didn't just keep it like this. I cut these giraffes out and moved them around different places. So don't feel like you have to use it just like the page. Like we saw, we made an ATC out of that page. Cut the butterflies out. Cut the frog, use them in different ways. And you can break it up. You don't have to, let me find something a little, okay. You don't have to just cut it out like this and glue it in your book. Cut the individual butterflies out, spread them out wherever you want them on your page. Same thing for birds or these big flowers. Okay? Don't feel like you have to just do this because that's what shows in the book. Use your imagination and go for it. All right, so I don't know if I have any more Creative Haven ones. I think that's it. I might come across, I don't know. But anyway, I just kind of show you by brand as we go too. I got a lot here, so I want to get crack-a-lackin'. Okay, this is my Secret Paris. I call this my Paula Paris because she's the one, Journal Artiste is the one that enabled me with this. This is the only book that I will probably try my best to leave intact, although I did make a couple copies out of them and put them in that other journal. I will try to leave this intact, well, I will leave it intact and try to actually finish this whole book. We colored her last week on stream. This is the only book that I have a compulsion to actually finish cover to cover in a completed book. None of the other books do I feel like I have to complete. And then you don't have to do any of it. But I'm just saying, for me, this is the one book I do want to color cover to cover. Okay? There's also, I think, some Secret Cities. I think New York. There's some other ones coming out. But I just love, here's the one that you saw that I colored and put in the back of that other journal. So I work on another thing that in a book like this, it has multiple little elements like this, all these perfume bottles. I will not sit and color every one of these perfume bottles in one sitting. I'll color 1 or 2. I'll move on to something else. Here's the vegetable page. Okay, since I showed you this book before, I think I finished the tomato, the apple, and it's wanting to flash out because it's white. The grapes and the cherries. I've not finished the kiwi or the pear yet, but I'll just go from thing to thing. Over here, I do have a radish half done, the pea pod, and a pumpkin. And then I might go over and color on some purses or something. So there's one pair of shoes. So don't ever feel when you pick up a color book, especially if it's one you know you're going to want to color the whole book, that you have to finish that whole page before you move on to something else. You'll be bored stiff, I'm telling you, because it takes a long time to shade and color these things. And you don't want to just be doing 50 pair of shoes. At least I don't, okay? I like to move around different things. Maybe color in a shirt, and then a shoe, and then a vegetable, and then maybe go do a big page like this. Make sure when you do a color book like this, though, in the back somewhere, find a little bit where you can test your markers, your watercolor, your paint, your neo colors, your ink tints, whatever you're using. Make sure it's not going through, especially if it's a double-sided page. If it's going to be something you cut out, or it's a single-sided page, and you don't care if it goes through, and you're torn it out, it's no big deal. But you want to also make sure, even though you're going to, let's say, color this page here with color pencil only, still put a piece of cardstock here so that the indenting of your coloring, it will affect this page, but you don't want it to affect this page and this page. So put a piece of cardstock behind it. Just get in the habit of doing that so that you're not ruining the next page. Okay, if y'all have had any questions in the last 5 minutes, I've not seen them. All right. This is another one that there's quite a few selection of. The Paris one, I forget what that one. I think that was like $16, 54. I don't remember. That's a little more on the high end as opposed to the Dover ones, which I'm going to get to in a minute, which are like $3.99. This is probably the most expensive. This one and my Daphne's Diary. Daphne's Diary is a UK magazine who has just come out with their first coloring book. And you can tell, look how they spell coloring. They spell it wrong. No, just kidding. Just kidding. They spell it the European way. We all tease each other about coloring and pencil crayons versus color pencils. Anyway, but Daphne's Diary has come out with their first coloring book. And what they've done, what I loved about this, is the pages are either partially colored, some are colored with blank areas for you to color. And I did do one in here that I'm going to show you. I'm not done with it, but I'm working on it. So you can see, like, here's the basis, and then partially left for you to color. So this one was like a 21 or 20, I think it was $21 magazine. Again, it's because it's imported from UK. Okay, that's why it's more expensive. Here's the one I'm working on. This particular one, this is another thing I want to tell you. This had a colored page one done, or pretty much done, with some little blank page things for you to finish, colored for you. And then a completely blank one on the next side. This is the one I'm working on. I did not color any of it the same color. So I just want you to see, just because they tell you you need to color this, that color, or the other, you don't have to color it their colors. I totally put my own colors. Now I'm not done. I'm not done with it, but you can see how far I've got with this one. Okay. So just saying, when you get some of the books have one page colored for you, for an example, don't feel, yeah, you like that, Dana? Don't feel like you have to color it the way they did. And again, I always keep something behind it. Now that looks like it's come through, but actually it's not. That is actually the print of the next page. They have printed it to look kind of painterly like. So that is actually the way that page is printed. See? But you do want to make sure whatever you're using isn't going to come through. In this case, it's color pencil. It's not coming through. But I love the way that this particular book has partial color and partial black and white. Okay? So that's the Daphne's Diary magazine. Got it at Barnes & Noble, but Books A Million, I think, is selling them now too. But these are in the bookstore, not Michael's. I haven't seen it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. This is an actual bookstore magazine, okay, in the magazine section. This one I got in the art section at Books A Million. And they're the art therapy books. These ones are the most, this is the most expensive color book I have, and it's because it's a hardback. I love Celtic designs. Coming from being a calligrapher back in the day, I still, I do a little bit here and there, but I'm nowhere near proficient like, when I was doing it professionally. I do a little bit here and there, but not professionally. But anyway, I love Celtic designs. This is a hardback, and it's put out by, who is it put out by? I don't know if that's the publisher, Jacques Small. Well, you can't see it on camera. It won't focus. I'm not sure who actually puts these out. I guess it's, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Jacquui Small. First published by Hachette Pratique. So I'm not sure who that publisher is. But there's like 3 or 4 of these. There's like 3 or 4 art therapy. This is the Celtic. There's art therapy. I don't remember. Paisley. I don't even remember. But there's a few different ones. And these are hardback. Nice hardback. Nice thick chipboard. Okay. And I've done a couple of things in here, started a couple, but it's all Celtic knots, Celtic designs, imagery. Um, Here's one that I'm in the process of working on. I try to work a little bit on the different ones so you can also see the different ones being colored, although I do go back and forth between them. I feel no compulsion to finish a 10-hour coloring page in one sitting, nor to keep going back to that one page until it's done. I skip all over the place. They're my color books. I can do what I want. And they're your color books. You can do what you want with them. Again, I wanted to make sure, now these pages are a little thicker. They're a little bit more higher quality. They're probably maybe 65-pound weight. I can't say for sure. It's not quite cardstock, but it's certainly better than printer paper, okay? And I have used a little bit of marker, I think the red, and it did not come through. But always test your pages on a back page. You know, get to the very back page and a little down there on the bottom or something and test it out to make sure that it's not going to come through. So this is what I'm working, and I added my own stars. Okay, I colored that all in, and then I added my own silver. You can't tell they're silver, but I added a silver gel pen star. So you can use your gel pens. You can use your, whatever you use for any other medium, you can use it. You just have to be aware, is it going to seep through? Or do I want to make a copy of this and then work on it, and then it doesn't matter if you're using Copics and it seeps through. Okay? But if you want to fully color a book, then you want to make sure you're not using something that's going to seep through. Okay? So you can see the just parts that I'm working on. And again, I add my own touch to it. You could Zentangle in here. You know, you could doodle. You can make polka dot stripes. You can do whatever. Don't make them constrict you. Don't let them constrict you in their color books. Do what you want. I think here's another one that I've partially colored. Again, I shaded and did different things than what they had on theirs. I added my own stars. Now it's not done. See, I haven't done their bones, but so you can see there's my work so far. You can see where I haven't done that color yet, where it's white. Okay, so I'm not done there. I'm not done with that Celtic knot. I go with what I like, you know. I pick colors I like. If you don't know if you're going to like those colors together, have a little scratch paper next to it. If you don't know if navy blue and lime green is going to go together, have a little thing over here with navy blue and lime. Oh, and I did want to address something else. Paula was talking about some of her stuff had shine, and I'm sure some of you do, the wax buildup. I don't get overly concerned about the wax buildup in my color books, but if you are trying to practice and learn not to have waxy buildup, the thing about it's not a horrible thing to have some shine on there, okay? Let me just say that. If you have a waxy buildup in your color book, it's not horrible. I don't like it in my portraits, but that's a whole different issue. If you get here's the problem with the waxy buildup. When you push real hard and try to color in, if you just want one little section, that solid color, it's not going to matter so much if you have a little waxy buildup where you've pushed a little hard and it's getting a wax bloom, is what they call it. The problem with wax bloom is you then cannot blend. You cannot blend after it's waxy. The colors you have underneath, if it's just one solid color, like let's just say you're going to just color in this lime green Celtic knot and just leave it lime green. It doesn't matter if there's a wax bloom, other than the aesthetics of looking at the wax bloom might bother you. But it's not going to matter because you're not going to be blending colors on top of it. Now, if I took a lime green pencil and just colored that all in real hard where it's all waxy, and then I wanted to shade with say a dark green shadow along those lines, it's not going to work. You're not going to blend if you've got a wax bloom. You can layer. You could put a layer of dark green, and it will, if you push real hard, go over the wax bloom. But if you're trying to subtly blend, like especially skin tones, if you're trying to blend skin tones together, 3, 4, 5, now in a color book, you're probably not going to get that involved. But if you want to practice your blending, if you've got wax bloom on it, it's not going to blend. It's not horrible. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, you got wax bloom on that, just throw it away. But you won't be able to blend those colors, your color pencils. Subtle blending, if it's all waxed up. That's the only thing. But nobody panic. Nobody panic if you get wax bloom. The more you work on your pieces using color pencil, whether it's over watercolor, marker, neo colors, you'll be able to tell what works with what and how hard you can push with something before you're done. You ain't going to get any more blending out of that one. But it takes practice. That's why I always say, have a light hand. You cannot go wrong if you do it softly. Okay? But if you just want just a solid green and you just want to get that green on there, just bear down and go for it. You'll have a shine, but oh well. Yeah, don't panic. Yes, wax bloom will not hurt you. But what I'm saying is that, you might want to be more subtle if you're depending on, the project. If it's just your color book and you don't care if it's got a shimmer and shine in areas, who cares? Okay? I'm just saying, you won't be able to blend. Subtle color pencil blending. You can layer and cover. You can solidly cover that wax bloom light green with the dark green, but you're not going to blend the two together. Okay? So, that's Art Therapy, Celtic 100 Designs, Coloring in and Relaxation, hardback, worth the $20. But will I go buy all the other ones? No. I just like this one because it was the Celtic design. That's why I got this one. Okay, moving on. We're not going to get finished in one part. I feared. Okay. I showed this one. This one is, let me get the page here. Put out by Metro Books, a division of Sterling Publication, by Michael O'Mara Books. And I just retweeted this morning. I retweeted a post by O'Mara Books. They're on Twitter. Please follow them. They have some awesome books, awesome coloring books. And this morning they showed, they're in UK, they showed a, what do you call it, a standout of some of their coloring books. This being one of them. Well, I already had this before I knew of O'Mara. And I have one of their books. I'm not going to give it away, but I have one of their books coming to me now. And when it comes, I'll do a show on it. I'll show it on a show. I love this. This one was on clearance at $7.98 at Barnes & Noble. This one has samples of all their color book. Not all of them, of course, but like 24 of them. Their vintage comic book covers. Okay? Vintage comic book covers. All different kinds. Okay? I love this. I did, in this case, make one I wanted it more like comic book size. So I made a copy of this. Where's the one that I did? Is it in the front here? Here it is right here. Basically, all I did was cut off the white. Okay, and I still not finished this. I still got to finish the little monsters. But I cut it down, and I inked the edges, distressed it to make it look vintagey and old-like. I did not, they did have a sample of this one. She's wearing a red bathing suit outfit, costume, whatever. She's wearing a red one, but it was too much like his, so I just made hers blue. Just because there's a picture of her with a red costume does not mean mine has to be that way. All right? So you color them how you want. You know, don't feel constrained. They have no, in this original comic book, they did not have any white highlights to make them look like bubble letters. I put my own spin on the lettering, okay? They did not have it like that in the little sample. All right, but I thought this was just awesome sauce, and I never say that. But I thought this was just awesome. So I cut it, you know, printed it out, cut it down, and, you know, inked the edges, distress the edges. And again, I'm not done with the ship or the little creatures coming around, but it's so fun to color these old comic books. Awesome. Love this book. O'Mara, I think is how you say it. Oh, it's Michael O'Mara Books. And it's on Twitter. So y'all go follow them because they're posting color book stuff. They posted, somebody else posted a color book page. Some man, I didn't catch his name or anything, had just done a color book page in one of their books, and they retweeted it. So go follow O'Mara. I'm not sure if it's Omar or I mean it's O'Mara, but I'm the Twitter name. Let me see. Let me tell y'all the Twitter name here. So they're awesome. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, it's O'Mara Books. Michael O'Mara Books. So let me show you the one. Here's where they tweeted this one this morning. See, there's the stand. There's the comic book one, the tattoo one. There's Anamorphia, some other ones. So this is some of their books on their stand. So y'all follow them. Yeah. Thanks, Vicki, for the link. Again, that's this book here. And that was before I even found them on Twitter. So this was just awesome. So I just keep that in here for now. There's that one. Again, that one I got at Books and Barnes and Noble. All right, so some of the other ones, this is a newer one. I'm going to show some of the newer ones that I have first, and then I'll get into some of the older Dover ones that I've had for years and years. Okay, this one again, this was in the bargain section of Books, Barnes and Noble. This was $6.98. I left the price tag on this one. You know, I mean, some of them so that you can see them. I usually tear off the, because I just don't like the way it looks. And sometimes if I just want to remember how much it cost, I'll put it in here. I think this one might be an O'Mara too. Let's see. Yeah, this is an O'Mara as well. Michael O'Mara. I hope I'm saying that right. This is one of theirs as well. And I love this because I like to cut this one up. Okay. Creative Coloring for Grown-Ups, Glorious Gardens. And I've cut a lot of these out and up. Okay. I think there's a couple here that I've colored a little bits of, but I really, really was excited for this one because it's images and things that I'll cut up and use in my art journal. So don't feel like you have to just color a whole bouquet of flowers. Color 2 or 3. And again, if you want, make you a copy of it so you don't mess up my book. You know, if you're just going to cut out 2 or 3 flowers, then, like here, look at that. That just right there would be awesome at the top of an art journal page. Okay. So, again, awesome books. This one's Glorious Gardens. All right. I'm not sure who puts this one out. Paula. Paula enabled me Paris. I enabled Paula the travel. Inspired Coloring Travel. I'm gonna have to go get some coffee in a second. This one, who's this put out by? I'm gonna have to learn all the publishers of the color books now. It was $7.98 at Barnes and Noble. Paragon. This one's put out by Paragon. Yeah, Paragon Books. And it has who did the images are from Shutterstock. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, oh my gosh, my color book that's sitting in a folder from like a year ago. Remember about a year ago I said I had something I was going to put out on a PDF for you guys? Let me show you. This book reminded me all I had left to do was a table of contents. I'll show you. Here's my book. Here's my color book. It's not copies, it's the originals here. One of these days, I will put that book out for you guys. Anyway, this kind of look kind of reminded me of my my own color book here. So, hey CB, anybody else popping in? So I'll show y'all my color book in a minute. I showed it once a few months ago, but anyway, so this kind of, some of it, like this kind of look, I'll show, you'll see in a minute. But I enabled this one for Paula, and I have not colored anything in it, but I just love the kind of the style of it. You know, it's got some like graffiti spots all over it and that kind of, same reason that Paula likes it. It's the same reason I like it. And she did on her show, a Journal Artista, she went into a little bit more show of this particular book. But again, you know, they're just so awesome. You know, you could just, if you want to make a copy of that, color it and cut that out and put it in your art journal. Again, don't go, you know, I'm not saying it's, don't go out and copy this stuff and try to sell it in your art, you know, your painting or something like that. I'm just talking about coloring and putting them in your own personal art journals, people. Don't email me. Okay, that being said, but I really love this. Inspired Coloring Travel. And this is the same people, I think, that did the zombie one, Vicky. That I did not, I didn't buy the zombie one, but I think it might be the same people that did the zombie one. Okay. Yeah, I'll show you mine here. Well, let me show you a couple. Well, I'll show you now. Okay, so I did this in 2014. These are the originals. These are my originals before I even have made copies of it. It was going to be called Rabbit Trails. Here's my original, the actual hard copy of my color book called Rabbit Trails. All right. These are all my own photographs that I've altered myself. Okay. These are all my own photographs that I have altered myself. And so I have it broken out. I have 7. Here's my 7 table of contents. Passages, adventure, direction, travel, fables, signs, and time. Those are my 7. And I know I'm putting it out there. I mean, you know, somebody can, yeah, whatever, you know. It's, you can see that I've done this. Okay. All right. So, and I have the, I don't remember. I think I have them divided up by the 7. This is all my own calligraphy. The lettering is my own. The photographs are all my own. And what I did is kind of make it a combination place to journal on some and have color books. But these are all my, see, look, I've made, here's the copies, here's all, this is actual hard copy. Hey, Ash. So I'll just kind of show. Here's passages. These are photographs that I took and I've combined different images together and I have little quotes, I mean definitions, like for instance, passages. Way of exit or entrance, a road, path, channel, or course by which something passes. Okay, and see, I've got my own little grids, hand-drawn grids, hand-drawn. This is all my own. These are the originals, guys. Okay, here's adventure, and okay, so I've got the 7 the 7 chapters all in the front here. 2 pages each. It's a double page spread for each. And then I've got the innards behind that. Adventure. Okay, all these, this is my own calligraphy, my own pictures of buildings, brickwork, alleyways, railings, all different kinds of things, windows that I've combined into my own kind of book. Okay, here's the other side of adventure, and again, it's got an adventure is an undertaking usually involving danger and unknown risks. So I've got the little definition there. This is an actual lock on a building in an alleyway in a small town near me. That's an actual lock that I took the picture of. So it's all just, you know, lines to write in. hand-drawn with a ruler and a pen. Direction, again, all hand-drawn, and then direction, guidance or supervision of action or conduct. So this is my color book here, guys. That goes on top of that. I want to keep it in order. Travel, okay, all different. This is I think this was a plant, a potted plant outline there, and it looked like a map. Okay, this is a trunk, a metal trunk behind there, but it's all my photographs and my own altering. I y'all think it's cool. I like it. Travel, to go on or as if on a trip or tour. Okay. There's a roof right there. All just different things. This is the pier in Savannah. Okay, that's the pier in Savannah. And you can see I've got half of a fish picture. This is my not a trout, a bass. I think it's a bass that I caught. Took a picture of it, half there, half there. So you got the bottom half of the fish there, the top half there. So anyway, in lines for writing, this one's called fables. A fable is a narration intended to enforce a useful truth. Let me say that again. A fable is a narration intended to enforce a useful truth. That's a picture of Cam when he was 4, fishing on the dock. You think it's cool? Thanks, Vicki. Thanks, guys. So, and then there's a little grid there. Then signs. A mark having a conventional meaning and used in place of words or to represent a complex notion. Okay, so then I just put a few little and then here's blank spaces for you to kind of write in. More blank spaces. And then the last chapter, and then all the rest of these can go in. Here was my thinking on this, is as a PDF, you could copy out as many as you wanted. Like you could make 20 copies of this. You could put 1 in each chapter if you wanted. So I have the main chapter pages, 2 of each. Then I have all the innards that you can just put wherever you want. Time. The measured or measurable period during which an action, process, or condition exists or continues. What am I waiting for? I've been so busy streaming and doing commissions, Vicki. Finite as contrasted with infinite duration. Again, these are all my own photographs. Trees, leaves, starfish, all kinds of, and I just put them together in my own way. And then this is a clock, a tree. This is at the lake. Just different things that I photographed over the years that I made my own color book with. This is a lantern off of a brick building down in a little small town. Okay, so again, now these are all the different innards that you can put anywhere you want. Okay. Blank places, you can put lines. Some I did put lines and grids and dots. Some I just left blank for places to write, journal. Okay. Thanks, Lynn. Yeah, spots for writing, yeah. So some places I put lines, some I left blank. Okay, clouds, that's my backyard. I left the lines from the telephone pole so you could write on that. But that's the clouds one day a few years ago from my backyard. Now that's not my backyard. That is. Here's a basket weave. No parking. Signs. So I've just got all different kinds of images like that. That's Cameron in Savannah when he was 5 at the railing on a building in Savannah.